Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Canelo Alvarez, holding up multiple divisions. Say Acabo. It's over. Get him out of here. Get Canelo out of boxing right now. That's how a lot of people feel. How do I feel? I think Canelo just wants to ride horses and play golf and get drunk, man. I'm just going to be honest with you, man. You know what I'm saying? That's truly how I feel. He's not trying to be great anymore. You know, he's proved his greatness to some people. Some people don't feel Canelo has really done anything spectacular. You know, the word being thrown around, which I think is a poorly chosen word to describe fighters who are very strategic with how they approach their career, is choreographed. I don't think Canelo Alvarez's career was choreographed. That's the wrong word. Nothing was rehearsed. You know what I'm saying? I think he was very strategic. And he said, you know what, this is the approach I'm gonna take, going after champions. And he was able to do quite a bit in a short period of time, where he had a very magnificent run of moving up and down weight divisions, just beating champion after champion after champion, becoming undisputed. You know, there was a little something there at 160 he didn't want to deal with. You know, he chose not to fight. I believe it was Andre. He didn't really want to do that undisputed fight down there. But you know, he did what he did, and here we are now, where Canelo's still doing what he wants to do. And I'm gonna tell you something. When people say, "Well, he's earned the right," you know what? I'm gonna say this: he won almost all of his fights, right? There are a couple where it's like, you know what? Me personally, I think he should have lost 2 of those Triple G fights. He lost Bivol. Was there another close one where he should have lost? Oh, some say he lost to Lara. So really, when you look at Canelo Alvarez, he probably should have more like, if you let some people say it, 4 losses on his record. I think he should definitely have 3, because I think he lost the first and second Triple G fights. And you know, he lost to Bivol. And I'm not just saying that, look, I don't have a favorite boxer. I'm telling you, I was watching that first fight. Most people thought he lost that fight. That second fight, oh, he stepped forward. Yeah, he stepped forward and got beamed. He didn't do nothing spectacular in that second Triple G fight. I was watching that fight, right, with Canelo fans. We were all watching it. And I was one of the few in the house who's neutral. But, of course, I wasn't rooting for Canelo in the second Triple G fight or rooting for Triple G. I was just neutral. But I was telling them, I was like, don't be surprised if Canelo loses. And they were making a bunch of noise. You know, of course, they were Canelo fans. You know what I'm saying? They were in there living La Vida Loca and shit. And we were joking and laughing. But by the third round, they were cussing at the TV. And at the end of the fight, they were like, Canelo lost. And when they announced him as the winner, they all said, no, he lost that fight. And there was about 40 of us in the house. And 35 were Canelo fans. We didn't have a horse in the living room and shit, but trust me, they were diehard Canelo fans. They were such fanatics, they'd fight over the man. But that being said, you look at where Canelo is right now. This man has IBF strap, WBA strap, WBC strap, WBO strap, and he's out here BSing. I get it when he fought Ryder, he fought as mandatory, and I understand he has some flexibility and what he can and can't do. But I want to just touch on this thing about Canelo and how he's such an amazing fighter and he's the best fighter to come out of Mexico. Look, let's hold our horses and stop taking to the stupid. He's not the best fighter to come out of Mexico. So stop that now. Now, me personally, look, I'd rather let one of the Mexican cats come out there and talk about that, you know what I'm saying? But for me, and what I know about Mexican fighters, you know, Chavez is the man. But when I look at, outside of Chavez, right? When I look at Barrera, Marquez, Morales, right? Those guys, no kidding, fought everybody. Those guys got in there and had a mash-up, crash-up. They weren't talking no shit about, I'm not fighting a Mexican fighter. I don't fight the Mexican people. I don't. Morales and Barrera, They laughed at Canelo when Canelo said that. So for any Canelo fans that like, oh man, he's making fun of Mexican people. No, I'm not. Bozito. Morales and Barrera made fun of him. They were like, that's why they don't respect him. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that respect for him like they do for each other and other Mexican fighters that got in there and went all out. So the thing I want to touch on is, when you look at Canelo, right, after that Mayweather fight and how he was able to go on the run he went on, let me tell you, there's got to be some kind of muscle behind a boxer for them to do the things that Canelo did. There's got to be some muscle behind it. And that's exactly what I feel happened there. Suleiman, the secret society, got behind Canelo, and they knew, because when Mayweather fought him, man, I'd have to say that Canelo was already a huge star in boxing. But after Mayweather fought him, and Canelo went on to do the things he did, Canelo became the face of boxing. And I feel that there are people who got behind him to make sure that they were able to ride that money train. And that meant letting him do whatever he wanted to do. And in that approach, they were very, very specific with the fights that were being made. Very, very specific, man. From the fighters, the weight, the clauses in contracts. And you know what, at the same time, I can't blame Canelo, because it's like they say, hurt people, right? And when you look at what Mayweather did to him, made him come down to a weight that Canelo did not want to get to. I don't know who hated cutting weight more, Canelo Alvarez or Miguel Cotto. Both of them complained openly about the weight cut. Like, that's just, they hated cutting weight. And Canelo, he doesn't have to worry about it now, but he hated the idea of coming down below 160 pounds. So when you look at the fact that he and Mayweather, after they fought, Canelo made sure that he wasn't going to handicap himself or be handicapped anymore. Now, I'm gonna point something out here that I think is very interesting. Let me find it for you. Where is it? Okay, here it goes, right here. Let me show you something. Where is old Floyd Mayweather? Okay, let me scroll down so I find old Floyd Mayweather on here. I'm gonna show you something. Okay. Before he fought, let me see if I can show you this. So this is Floyd Mayweather. They fought in 2013. But before that, he fought Trout. He fought Josecito. He fought Shea Mosley, Kermit Syndrome, Alfonso Gomez, Ryan Rose, Matthew Hatton. Now, those were good fights for Canelo. Those were good fights. But when he fought Floyd Mayweather, he went in and fought Angulo. Angulo was just coming out of the ICE program of being deported or whatever, right? He went and he fought Lara. A lot of people felt like he lost that fight. Then he fought Kirkland. Now, what we realized with James Kirkland at the time was undefeated, but that wasn't the same James Kirkland that we had all fallen in love with. Him going to jail and coming out of jail and everything. James Kirkland was fed to Canelo Alvarez, which is not his fault. Then he goes, he fights Miguel Cotto, and that's just one of those fights where Miguel Cotto wasn't the same Miguel Cotto. Okay, we all know that. He was at the end of his career. A younger Miguel Cotto would have beat Canelo, no problem. Then he got Amir Khan. Look, Amir Khan fighting at 155. Amir Khan should have never been at that weight. He goes and he fights Liam Smith. Liam Smith's a tough, durable guy, but at the end of the day, when he beat Liam Smith just kind of shrugged his shoulders like, hey, whatever, finished on his feet. Then he fought Chavez Jr., fought the man at 164. Chavez had no business being down at 164. He's a 175-pound fighter. He's a big boy, and they weight drained him. The two Golovkin fights, Canelo, in my opinion, lost both of those. Then he goes and he fights Rocky Fielder. Now he jumps up to 168 pounds, weighs in at 167. Rocky Fielder didn't even put forth an effort. Canelo crushed this man, you know what I'm saying, in the third round. Like an absolute embarrassment. Rocky, I don't even know how a guy like Rocky Fielder could have been a champion and just let a guy like Canelo bubble up and destroy him like that. So that makes me say somebody took it to the stupid. And maybe there was a little bit of corruption going on there. But I want to give Canelo his credit, but I'm just telling you, I'm watching that and it's not making sense to me. Then he fights Daniel Jacobs. I understand what happened there with Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs changed trainers and he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was scared to let his hands go. When have you seen Daniel Jacobs scared to let his hands go? But maybe Canelo Alvarez has something special about him, which I do believe is true, but Jacobs didn't want that problem. So then he goes from 160 and jumps all the way up to 175. Kovalev, who was out here destroying people, and all of a sudden Kovalev loses his killer instinct and forgets how to hit hard. Kovalev was in there pity-patting. He wasn't even trying to knock out Canelo Alvarez. So, again, that's another one of those things that makes you say, Rocky Fielding forgot how to fight, how to be strong, how to be a champion. Kovalev forgot how to fight, how to be strong, how to be a champion. Then he takes on Caleb Smith, right? And then somehow it goes to decision, but he couldn't stop him, but he beat Caleb Smith. Which I still, with that fight, it made me say to myself, Canelo must be super strong. Then he gets in there with Avni Yildirim. He beats him. So he's clipping all these guys, and he goes on this run after Floyd Mayweather, and I'm saying to myself, this is amazing, but how? He gets in there with Billy Joe Saunders, and I don't really have any questions about that. Canelo was walking him down and hitting him with some shit that Billy Joe Saunders, wasn't really ready to deal with. Fights Caleb Plant, and Canelo deserves all the credit in the world for that win. But Caleb Plant, this is the problem with Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is a naturally left-handed fighter who fights orthodox. And Caleb Plant, once Canelo basically nullified that left hand of his, Caleb Plant didn't know what to do. And he had some great moments, but Caleb Plant is all left hand. Jab, hook, the right hand is non-existent. So he's a one-handed fighter. But Canelo deserves to win because with that one hand, Caleb Plant, just like De La Hoya with that one hand, Miguel Cotto with that one hand, those guys did a lot of damage and had huge success as boxers. He goes up to Bivol, think he can keep the party going, got the reality check. A two-handed fighter who can box and has some respectable punching power. Things didn't work out the way he wanted. He got beat down every round. Has a rematch with Gennady Golovkin, which was a joke. Golovkin, we all know Golovkin was done. Gets in there with Ryder, who was mandatory. Couldn't stop him. Ryder just walking through everything. But Ryder took a lot of damage. Then he comes down and he fights Jermell Charlo, makes him bubble up, and he beats him, every single round. And then Canelo says, this version of Canelo, nobody can beat me. But when you look at that run that he had, it's like, damn. How was he able to do all this? And I'm gonna tell you, one, Canelo can fight, but two, he's got the muscle behind him. He's got the machine behind him. He's got the secret society behind him. And it's simple. So even if you say, nah, I don't agree with anything you just said, all of those fights he fought before Mayweather, after Mayweather, all of those fights that he fought, he deserved to be credited for those victories. You don't believe there was any corruption there at all. Okay, I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just telling you, for me, I watched that Rocky Fielding fight. I watched them Golovkin fights. I watched that Caleb Smith fight. I'm watching these fights and saying, how? I watched that Kovalev fight. I'm like, what the hell happened here? You know what I'm saying? But that being said, look at where he's at now. He's over on PBC. And he's fighting Jermell. I understand Al Heyman wants to get his guys paid. He wants to make sure Canelo keeps winning. And this isn't all on Canelo. That's what I'm talking about, the muscle, the secret society. I think Al Heyman has a little bit to do with this too, because he could be pushing for Benavidez to fight Canelo. But who knows what kind of conversation is taking place behind the scenes? Because they can't make Canelo fight anybody. You can't force Canelo to do nothing. That's why I'm putting a lot of responsibility on Canelo. Canelo does what he wants. But my thing is, he fought Jermell. Benavidez's been there for a couple of years as a mandatory. He's more than earned his shot. And now he's about to fight Jamal. Holding up the division, man. Just let the belts go. But even if he tried, I don't think the sanctioning bodies would let him. I don't think they would let him because of the amount of money he generates. But in my opinion, it's holding up the damn. He's holding up 168. 160, 154. It's over right now. I just think that, in my opinion, he just needs to go on somewhere. Drop the belts and go do what you want. Because this sucks, man. You look at all these guys out here who are trying to put in work, trying to, get a belt. With the title, that means more money. These guys are here wanting to create opportunities for their families. It seems to be like the only way they can make real money is if they fight Canelo. So they all sitting there holding their breath, praying to God that he picks them. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. All these guys are hungry for a steak, but they got to settle for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which I like peanut butter and jelly. But goddamn, I'd rather have a steak. You don't even have to give me the goddamn potato with it. Just give me the goddamn steak. You take that peanut butter and jelly. Canelo the only one out here eating steak. From 154, 160, 168. Canelo is out here eating steak. Steak. Carne. Everybody else, PBJ. So, I don't know what they're going to do about it. But I tell you what, for me to see Canelo fans getting frustrated, they're like, yo, he needs to go. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, he's not going nowhere because he wants to become a billionaire. And I don't think he's a billionaire yet because he would have said that. But he said that's his plan, to become a billionaire. He has investments. He's doing boxing. He has all these things going on. And I think once he gets himself a couple $1 billion, because I think once he gets up there, I think Canelo can retire as probably a couple $1 billion, man. But that's one of his goals. And he's going to keep milking it. People, that's what this is about. The secret society makes money off him, and Canelo keeps stacking up his dough. And he's going to keep, working smart, not hard. That being said, don't expect for anything that we want to see happen transpire, because as long as Canelo is out here fighting and making money and winning, the secret society is going to be behind him. And I'm going to tell you right now, just like some people say when Floyd fought Canelo, even though he beat Canelo, it's almost like the torch was handed to Canelo to go on and become the face of boxing. If Canelo fights Benavidez, which I don't think Canelo would beat him, but I think the torch kind of gets handed off to Benavidez to become the face of boxing. But I think Benavidez still has some work to do because Canelo's from Mexico. He has a whole goddamn country behind him, like boxing crazy fans coming out of Mexico. But he has a whole lot of people in the United States, the UK, across all 7 continents, right? All 7 continents, all countries in between. They all like Canelo. I don't know if Benavidez has that kind of appeal. You know what I'm saying? To where he can get the people on all 7 continents to want to watch him fight. I don't know if he has that. And I think the secret society is paying attention. And once we have somebody like that, who can actually have that appeal to all 7 continents and can continue to generate, millions and millions of dollars, I think Canelo's going to remain in place the way he is, man, because it really comes down to money. But I just think it kind of sucks that he wants to hold up the division and keep eating steak and forcing everybody else to eat PBJs. And at the end of the day, if they know what they're up against, they need to do the business. And Jamal Charlo has a great opportunity. If that's the fight that's going to take place next, he has a great opportunity to get busy and to clip Canelo. And Jamal could put himself in a great, great space. Will he become the face of boxing? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it will shake up the boxing world. That being said, Canelo, in my opinion, he's holding up the division. Say Acabo, it's over. Just get out of here. Like that really, my opinion, just get the hell out the way, Canelo. You keep doing what you're doing, but let everybody fight for the belts. Just go on. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.